Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Unquestioned podcast with Louis de Bade and Willem Himpe. And today we can have a good one for you about large language models, but on the device itself. But first of all, Louis, how is it going? How has been the last couple of weeks or days at Spotty?
Last week was a lot of fun.
Spotify for the listener, sorry.
Yeah. Nah, even we don't call ourselves Spotty.
Yes, sorry, it's a nickname I gave you guys.
A lot of ideas have the Spotty prefix.
Okay,
Fact,
cool.
for obvious reasons. Last week was a ton of fun because it was our, I believe, our 13th annual hackathon.
Oh,
Hack Week at Spotify, where everyone gets the opportunity to work on something they want to see in the app. And if your project is a success, it might even actually make it into the app. So I saw way too many cool and exciting projects, just way too much content from all the eager, creative, productive engineers that wanted to show what they would like to see. And
really cool. Like, as well for the listeners, maybe you know in the past we did an episode about a hackathon, why it's important that every company should do this. And I would want to ask you one question, like, does most of the projects, because a hackathon can be on the certain processes internally that the company does, but as well to improve the product for external, for the customers and so on. Do you know, is there like a percentage-wise that most engineers work on internal issues because they're so close to those problems? Or do you see often very fun new ways to make the customer happier?
It's a good question. And a common misconception is indeed that hackathons are only about the customer-facing side of the product. It doesn't have to be user-facing at all if it improves the process of the company. And I mean, at all great product companies, the employees are heavy users, so they like to see their experience improved as well. So I would say, I think most group projects are about user value, and then you have a lot of solo hacks of people that really have this itch they have to scratch.
The kind of
daily workflow, improve tools.
The daily work from themselves and from all the fellow engineers.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, I would say let's get straight on to the episode where we're going to talk about large language models, but locally. So maybe first of all, let's explain to the audience one more time, what is a large language model, first of all, and then maybe what is the next step? Why do we want it actually locally on our smartphone or on our laptop, which means that it's not connected to the internet, but it's running and it's giving us good insights or good kind of responses, but not connected to an external source or server.
Large language models, or LLMs for short, are the latest breakthrough in AI, taking the world by storm.
Yes.
And most famously or notoriously under the implementation of Chatgpt, which has, I'm sure, annoyed many teacher and
but a lot of students in total have enjoyed it a lot, and as well it was the fastest growing product. Within 60 days it got to 100 million users, which is quite incredible.
Yes,
okay, sorry to interrupt.
The iPad of the tablet world, the ChatGPT is can you ChatGPT this? Can you LLM this?
It's actually like Google was a verb. Maybe ChatGPT soon will as well be accepted by the main Oxford Dictionary or whatever.
Exactly. So that's how you can explain it to most people that aren't familiar with the technical term. And what we're going to explore today is on-device LLMs and why you want them. I don't think this is discussed enough because I'm very confident that we're going to see it fairly soon. And the main benefit.
Why do you see this being happening very, very soon?
Well, I'll go into the benefits first, and then why whether it's possible today, or if it's coming when it is coming.
Correct.
The main benefit, you alluded to it, on device means no internet required, so that means it works offline. And many services like Google only work when you're connected to the internet because it's just such a vast database of information you have to search across the whole World Wide Web. But LLMs, like, they also index the web, but you could separate their reasoning abilities, which is what makes them think, this new breakthrough that makes them finally a functional chatbot or a human-like program. Separate that from the large base of knowledge, this large index, and that could be a way to make them smaller. So we already have examples today of this. Facebook released a LLM called Llama. Some technical acronym, but it's a GPT-3 caliber model that's only 7 gigabytes in size, which is incredibly small. Now, it's not quite at the level of GPT-3, but it's close. So close, in fact, that it's useful enough. And
you can actually just download this 7 gigabyte file on your phone, and not yet.
But on your laptop, it's totally doable, and that means you could be on a plane. You've got a physics question. Well, you can ask Llama to give it a try if you don't have a physics professor sitting next to you.
Yeah.
By chance.
To kind of as well break it down to our listeners, these models are very, very small because they're already kind of trained on all the data before. So first such a model needs to be, like Louis said, trained on lots of internet data, a lot of text data, to really create kind of this knowledge. And then this knowledge can be compressed into kind of only the important stuff, which is the weights and the biases of that model. It's kind of saved in that 7 gigabyte file, and then that you can just place it on any device that you would want, and then you just a new kind of question or a new kind of prompt could be asked to this app or to this 7 gigabyte file in a way, and then a valuable response with already all the insights of all the data it has seen is actually within that 7 gigabyte. So sorry to repeat that, but it's
the size is just,
it's kind of super to see how much knowledge it can be compressed into kind of into this small file. Okay, but now first of all, this is probably as well, it's insane that we can compress it so much and run it locally without an internet connection. But are there other reasons that we really would want this, instead of like, why does it matter that actually I has to go to the internet and come back? Because
definitely. So we already said it works offline. So and also if there's if the service is down temporarily, no risk of that happening. You could have multiple instances running locally, so you're not dependent. But also privacy is a big thing, and why is privacy important to you? Well, you have to keep in mind that just like when you type something into Google, you send your request to their servers. The same thing is happening here. You are sending whatever your prompt is, your question, straight to OpenAI to process it and give you a useful response, a useful result back. But you don't know what they end up doing with that data. Maybe they only have some analytics on it. Maybe they don't do anything with it now, but that could change in the future. Or maybe they use it to train the model. So maybe your valued inputs is actually making the model stronger. Maybe you don't want that. Or even more important, maybe it could end up leaking sensitive corporate information, like intellectual property. And an example from my daily work has been, I sometimes really explore the limits of Chatgpt by using it for some very
by abusing the software.
by using it for really as a lazy person for very stupid and petty things like code formatting.
Okay.
My idea was this function with 10 parameters, and I'm too lazy to format it myself. I don't want to look up the shortcuts in my editor, or maybe don't support it. So let me just dump this function with all the parameters with wrong white space into it and say, hey, ChatGPT, format this in this programming language in Swift style, one under the other. Please, with correct white space, do that for me. Now, the reason why you would want to do this necessarily with like a code file from a production environment that could contain
A code file from a company which has
that could contain intellectual properties, because even if it's just function parameters, which is just a series of names and labels, even that could contain
valuable information
like unreleased product name or something else that is sensitive. So
and that could pop up in the knowledge base or the analysis of OpenAI, and they would have now an advantage, or kind of, if full functions of, I don't know, certain algorithms would be placed into ChatGPT, optimize this, then
a name that can give your competitors a clue could be harmful to your business. And this is why, and again, large companies are already worried about this. So Amazon and others are concerned.
They're limiting the access to these massive tools, which is...
or limiting what they feed into it. It's fine to ask it what cat food you should buy for your pet, but it's a different thing to ask it how to solve business critical issues that could expose information, again, that's internal about your business. And yeah, this is where locally hosted LLMs come in, because if you can ensure that this model is running offline in your facility,
correct,
air-gapped way, which means it's
no information can be leaked.
Yeah, it's in no way connected to the internet. Like physically, you can say if you're very paranoid, you build a aluminium container and you say no wireless.
A concrete container would be better.
You build a bunker, a fortress, and you can say with absolutely certainty, like, no wires, this is physically impossible to connect to. Then it's safe for you to let loose all your private information on it, and be certain that it's not gonna be exposed.
Yeah, well, that's actually I don't know, were you gonna say something else? No, that's a good insight in the B2B context, but I would say this as well. As a last thing I would want to say is about the B2C. This B2C means business to consumer. There's services like apps, for example, or photo sharing app, where it's first goes to a server, and there's like analytics of which faces are in, or which detection of objects are in there, and those are knowledge actually of your very private or of your private data that they can obtain and use. And actually a large language models can do this type of labeling, or give any other valuable insights of your existing data on your phone, and when this is and this data or this predictions or analytics are done within the phone or within the device that you're using, and it's not connected, it doesn't have to be sent to another server of another company, then you as well again get the insights of your data, and it it stays on your device, and you can control everything within that big concrete wall, like you say, Louis, and it's kind of that second that every time you have to question, like, oh, do I really I'm scared to put this on my phone or other stuff because I'm scared that this would leak or other stuff, that would be then kind of limited, and you have much more freedom on your phone because it's fully private.
Yes, and when you hear privacy, there's a famous player that jumps to my mind, which is Apple. They really like to play the privacy card because they already have machine learning running locally, and they like to advertise that. They say, hey, Google is sending everything to their servers, but we do as much as we can on the device for personalization, because we're not interested in the data. I mean, they still have tons of data about you, but it's a valid use case. And a third aspect is speed. So again, not being dependent on the internet is something that doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but there's a difference between something being available 99.9% of the time and always available.
Correct. You could say as well, the models in the externally, it has to, first of all, you lose time by sending the data to that external server or in the cloud. Then it does all its analytics and gives you valuable information back. But if it's all on device, it doesn't need to do that back and forward. The only thing is then...
Latency is a bigger deal than people realize. Latency is the speed at which you receive your information. And if you're dependent on the network, even if you have the strongest network available, there's still a difference between, again, connecting to the internet and coming back. Because let's say you arrive home and you're just switching from 4G to Wi-Fi, which has actually happened to me on multiple occasions. I'm calling someone on the go. I arrive at home and
hey, hello.
half the time,
Mama.
quick interruption. And if you're in the flow, if you're talking, you're like, how is this possible in 2023? Well, if it's running locally, then you never have that problem. So no latency, networking problems can come up.
Okay, perfect. I think that's a good way to end. Well, one thing as well, I would say, still, if you want a phone call, it will still have to go to the internet. I don't think you can have a phone call within on device, because then you'll be talking to a fictive person that's living into the large language model. Okay.
Peer-to-peer. But before we let's see where we're at. What is the situation right now? I mentioned this 7 gigabyte model that is available today for you to run on your machine. I gave it a few sample questions, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I asked it for the perfect songs to get over a breakup. It gave me real songs that existed. No hallucination.
Are you okay, Louis?
Yes. Yeah.
You need a 101. Listen, I'm here. We can have a spa day. Listen.
I'm just looking for like a real, like, tangible,
difficult problem maybe.
Benefits. Thing that doesn't exist right now. Another thing that I asked was if I'm a fan of RHCP, which city should I visit? And explain with emoji.
Okay, first of all, what is RHCP? Because I don't know even.
Yeah, well, the model knows. It stands for the group Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
And why did I frame it this way? Because this again illustrates the power of the model understanding more than just the exact name that you give it. So, because you would expect typing this into a search box that a music service like Spotify knows the acronym or the a different name for your DJ that you listen to, or a rapper alias. And again, the model does all this like a human. So again, if you're a big fan and you text people, you use that acronym. If you don't, maybe you don't know, but the model knows it all.
It makes it feel much more personal in a way.
And it gave the right answer. The right answer is Los Angeles. Like, all the songs are about California.
Quite insane.
And it also gave me a bunch of emojis. So might not be at the level of Chatgpt yet, but I was impressed for it running locally. It took a few seconds, but again, all this can be optimized.
But still, it's incredible. It wasn't going from a remote server. It's all on the device, I believe.
Yeah. It's just one thing to talk about it, another thing to see it happen in real time and verify. Also, I turned off my Wi-Fi just to be sure. That wasn't a trick.
Well, I don't think it's yet available for normal people. You can as well go to the repository and on GitHub and clone it over there and run it yourself. But probably as well, soon into the future, which company it will be, I don't know, but there will be a large language model on device probably pretty soon. Well, thank you very much, Louis. Hopefully you and the listeners enjoyed this episode, and we would love to let you come back to the next episode of the Unquestioned podcast. We're looking forward to it. Bye bye. See you soon.